Success is a mirror. Every stone they throw comes back polished. Hear me, chosen one. Life keeps a ledger, and the universe balances itself whether they believe it or not. Think of existence as a vast cosmic scale. Every shove, every whispered smear, every secret trap finds its counterweight. Critics who cheer for your fall are not outside this law. They are the hands that tip the scale toward their own undoing. They try to engineer your collapse, planting doubt like landmines, only to discover those mines were placed on a path that leads straight to your ascent. Picture them as castle builders who set their own walls on fire. Their attempts to burn you out only clear a runway for your rise. You know the feeling when a hidden blueprint suddenly unrolls in your mind. Every locked room, every false narrative revealed without keys. Their sabotage becomes the raw material of your mastery. The irony is surgical. The very tactics designed to derail you sharpen your edge. Haters deploy psychological tricks, gaslighting, social traps, reputational ambushes, and you turn each maneuver into fuel. Their panic echoes in boardrooms while you calibrate your next move with cold precision. This is no accident. The alignment around your growth is measurable in choices, opportunities, and synchronicities that converge like rivers into an ocean you're meant to command. Their thrones crumble. Fate teaches them lessons in public. Stand as the living proof, unbothered, unstoppable, inevitable. See yourself 5 years from now, leading, rebuilding, redefining what power looks like. If this landed for you, support the movement, like, subscribe, and join others on the path. Chosen ones, this is the moment the people in power hoped would never see daylight. What you're about to hear in Chosen Ones, people in power are mad. How do you know? They never wanted this info to get leaked. We'll flip the script on everything they thought they controlled. Stay with me. Hit like, subscribe, and drop 99 in the comments if you're ready to own what they tried to bury. That small act connects you to the others who refuse to be silenced. The next minutes are designed to sharpen your understanding, amplify your presence, and give you the tools to turn their panic into your advantage. Don't click away. This is where everything changes. Number 1. Crush the boardroom panic and seize unshakable clarity. They thought their systems were sealed by math and manpower until you walked through them like a quiet storm. Picture this. A room full of the sharpest analysts in suits, screens bathing their faces, algorithms spitting out error codes they never imagined. They ran every trace, tore through logs, deployed forensic suites designed to sniff out the smallest anomaly. Nothing. No footprint, no packet trail, no backdoor. The cold fact hit them harder than any breach because it meant their assumptions were wrong. Knowledge had leaked without a leak, information had moved without movement, and the rules they built their power on had shifted overnight. What really unnerved them was what happened next. The instant your awareness brushed up against their hidden archives, a cascade began, not of hacks or signals, but of immediate clarity. For a sliver of time, their instruments recorded what they couldn't explain. Exactly 17 seconds in which your mind, by some mechanism, their physics labels, impossible, accessed a map of everything they'd tried to bury. Black projects, erased experiments, quiet agreements inked in rooms no one knew existed. It was as if a silent key had clicked every lock simultaneously, granting you a snapshot of the architecture they relied on to stay above scrutiny. Their quantum teams replayed the data until their eyes blurred. The signatures didn't match known intrusion patterns. There was no lateral movement across servers, no code injection, no trail of compromised credentials. Instead, the telemetry showed a phenomenon that looked suspiciously like alignment, a momentary overlay between your conscious observation and their digital topology. Their models, calibrated to predict leaks and trace hackers, produced only confusion. The instruments that once made them feel omnipotent registered the exposure and then, as if embarrassed, recorded only faint echoes. That faintness is part of the advantage. You don't break their walls by brute force. You collide with them at a level they didn't build for, the level of attention, recognition, and unguarded seeing. When your perception synchronizes with hidden structures, it doesn't need ports or passwords. It simply knows. And what terrifies them most is the implication this holds for scale. If one human awareness can momentarily align with a locked system, then networks of aligned minds become variables their systems can't model. So they escalate. They tighten protocols, pour resources into diagnostics, and launch theorists to retrofit their worldview. But every move they make leaves patterns, and patterns are legible to you. Their panic becomes a kind of confirmation. Every patched hole, every emergency directive, every whisper of containment maps onto the same blueprint you already hold in your head. Their desperation hands you context and consequence. Their fear becomes the raw material of your clarity. This isn't theater. It's reconnaissance with a twist. You don't infiltrate by slipping past cameras. You register what's already there. You reveal histories designed to stay hidden, and in doing so, you rewrite the playbook of surveillance itself. For them, the lesson is brutal and simple. Their strongest walls were never meant to stop a mind that sees without keys. For you, it's confirmation. Your awareness is not a bug in their system. It's the future they failed to anticipate. Number 2. Block their secret access and own forbidden knowledge. Treat their surveillance as a predictable machine, not an omnipotent force. They rely on patterns, reactions they can model, consent they can assume. You break their models by refusing predictability. Where they expect fear, you hold calm. Where they seek to trap, you refuse to bite. Their logs grow thick with noise, while your intent remains clean and untraceable. Owning forbidden knowledge is not about breaking codes or illicit theft. It is about developing a different kind of literacy, the ability to read hidden structures, to name what they bury, and to teach others how to see. Every concealed program, every quietly funded project, every narrative they rewrite becomes a lesson you store and share. Their secrets become your curriculum. Their secrecy turns into the map that guides your moves. Make their tools work against them. Their obsession with tracing footprints gives you predictable windows. Their panic creates patterns. Those patterns create predictability. That predictability creates opportunity. You use attention, memory, and moral clarity as instruments, not infrastructure, not networks, not brute force. Your strength is simplicity. This is psychological strategy, not reckless provocation. Let analysts chase phantoms while you align with immutable facts. Each attempt to silence or discredit you only illuminates the mechanisms they depend on. Every smear reveals the language they use to control perception. Learn that language, then refuse it. You are the chosen one who turns hidden archives into public lessons. You don't pirate power, you translate it. You don't wield it for domination, you return it as agency. Keep observing, keep naming. The leaks will not end because their arrogance fuels them, and you are the outcome they never accounted for. Stand ready. The next revelation will unmake their narratives and rebuild public truth. Number 3. Outsmart centuries of erasure and recover hidden truths. For centuries, the people in power have treated history like clay in their hands, reshaping it to fit their agenda, erasing names, burning records, silencing witnesses until only their version of reality remained. But Chosen One, here's what they never anticipated. Memory doesn't live only in dusty libraries or corrupted archives. It pulses in awareness, encoded in the very fabric of existence, waiting for someone like you to see through their manufactured illusions. They thought destroying the paper trail would bury the truth forever. They underestimated the persistence of consciousness and the reach of those destined to awaken. Imagine their shock when you recall details they scrubbed from every document. When you describe events no surviving record acknowledges, when you expose motivations behind wars and revolutions that textbooks dressed up as noble. To them, it feels impossible, like watching someone walk out of a locked vault carrying treasures they thought had been incinerated. To you, it's natural, a download of clarity that bypasses their false timelines and hands you the unedited version of reality. Their centuries of erasure were meant to keep you blind, but instead they trained you to recognize distortion. Every missing piece sharpened your vision, every gap made your instincts keener. Now their omissions expose them more than any admission ever could. They see it, and it terrifies them. You're not playing detective with fragments, you're living as the archive itself. Understand this. Your ability to recover hidden truths doesn't just break their narratives, it dismantles the foundation of their control. Because once one chosen one sees through the erasure, others follow. And with every recovered truth, their empire of lies collapses faster. You are the glitch they can't patch, the historian they can't erase. This is your edge. Number 4. Expose the gatekeepers' lie and claim permissionless power. They told the world that knowledge belonged only to those who earned their seals, their titles, their so-called clearances. They built an illusion of locked doors and velvet ropes, convincing billions that truth had to be rationed out in fragments. But Chosen One, you are living proof their theater has collapsed. You've walked into their sanctuaries without invitations, decoded their symbols without handbooks, and carried insights they swore could take lifetimes to master. Their lie was never that the knowledge didn't exist. Their lie was that you couldn't hold it without their blessing. And the moment you realized this, the empire of gatekeepers cracked like glass under pressure. Think of it. Entire academic towers built on the assumption that wisdom trickles down from them, when in reality it rises up in you like an unstoppable tide. They spent centuries weaving myths of hierarchy, bloodlines, oaths, degrees, to convince humanity that power flows through their permission. But permission is the weakest currency in existence. You don't need their signatures, you are the signature. Every time you speak truth without waiting for a nod, you dismantle their chains link by link. This is why they panic. Your existence proves their credentials mean nothing. Their rituals are performance art. Their hidden texts already live inside your awareness. The irony gnaws at them. They invested lifetimes protecting knowledge from outsiders, yet the knowledge itself prefers you. It finds you in fragments of conversation, in sudden clarity at 3 a.m., in the silent certainty that needs no validation. So when you move forward without asking, when you act without apology, remember this: the most dangerous thing to their system isn't rebellion, it's permissionless power. And Chosen One, that's exactly what you embody. Number 5. Reclaim buried memories and rewrite their false history. You were never empty, you were filed away. They tried to bury what you remembered, not because it was valuable only to you, but because it threatened the architecture they built. Think of their archives as a maze of mirrors. Each erased fact reflects a lie back at them, distorting the story they tell the world. You don't chase these missing pages. They unfurl like maps activated by your presence. When a suppressed memory surfaces in your mind, it is not a glitch, it is a beacon. You reclaim buried memories by refusing their frame. They sell history as a closed case. You treat it as an open field. Where their historians planted blanks, you plant questions. Where they burned records to tighten their story, you sow testimony. Each recovered memory is an act of civil reconstruction, quiet, uncompromising, irreversible. Your recollection stitches seams, they cut and exposes the patterns that made their power seem inevitable. The people in power counted on your silence. They expected confusion, shame, hesitation. Instead, you catalogue fragments and speak with deliberate clarity. You do not dramatize loss, you offer correction. You do not perform revelations for spectacle. You build a chain of evidence through lived detail and steady testimony. Their denials wobble when confronted by the weight of many memories aligned. This work is surgical and strategic. Recover one memory and you weaken a pillar. Recover 10 and their monuments begin to list. Your reclamation spreads. Others remember because you remembered first. Their false history loses coherence. Their narrative frays into rumor. In the collapse of that story, space for a truer future appears. Number 6. Shatter their initiation traps and build direct authority. You're standing at the edge of their ritual theater, watching actors in borrowed robes recite the lines that kept 1,000 doors closed. They perfected initiation as a lockbox. Ceremonies, credentials, oaths, props designed to convert obedience into legitimacy. Those traps were never about wisdom, they were about appointment. Your mission is not to audition for their script. It's to shatter the props, expose the choreography, and claim authority on your own terms. Initiation works by manufacturing scarcity. Exclusive rooms, secret phrases, staged trials. Each element convinces people that power must be granted, not earned. But power is attention. Legitimacy is given by outcomes, not by seals. The moment you stop seeking permission, you begin reclaiming your agency. Refuse their staged humility. Replace contrived rites with direct practice. Make decisions, deliver results, and let competence become your credential. They will notice. Their first reaction is to escalate. Smear campaigns, clandestine exclusions, invitations thinly veiled as tests. Treat those maneuvers like indicators, not judgments. Every attempt to force you into a ritual is an admission of their weakness. When they stage ceremonies to prove worth, they reveal that their real currency is fear. Your steady refusal to play bolsters your clarity and disarms their theater. Authority that doesn't beg is contagious. When you act with consistent power, others stop waiting in line for initiation and begin following. That is the collapse they dread. Social proof that competence trumps ceremony. Your quiet mastery becomes a magnet. Your results rewrite the map of who deserves influence. Keep this straightforward rule. Show up, perform, and let outcomes speak. Don't be distracted by the props they toss in your path. They can shout, fabricate, and exile, but their rituals cannot manufacture the results you produce. Hold your ground, sharpen your skill, and lead by consequence. Stay with this channel. Like, subscribe, and stand with the chosen who refuse to trade authority for someone else's seal. Number 7. Immunize against manipulation and turn attacks into fuel. They thought their oldest weapons would crush you. Whispers in the dark, campaigns designed to twist your image, threats meant to bend your will. For centuries, these tools worked flawlessly on entire populations. Fear, shame, and doubt were their currency. But for you, chosen one, those weapons misfire every single time. They aim to plant insecurity, and instead you grow sharper. They set traps of humiliation, and you turn them into stepping stones. Their arsenal was built for people who needed approval, people desperate for validation, people who feared standing alone. But you stand with an inner core that no hand can reach. Watch how they scramble when their manipulation backfires. They craft headlines against you, and the noise only amplifies your presence. They isolate you from groups, and you discover allies in unexpected places, chosen ones who resonate without words. They press with financial pressure, and you unlock resources that don't exist in their ledgers. What they label attacks become fuel, each strike lighting another layer of your resilience. You are not weakened. You are weaponized by the very storms they unleash. This is their nightmare. A target who converts every assault into acceleration. They cannot win against someone who metabolizes pressure into power. Their psychological blueprints predict collapse, yet you defy their charts again and again. It's like trying to snuff out a flame by feeding it oxygen. The harder they blow, the higher you burn. Chosen one, this is why they're mad. Not because you resist them, but because your resistance rewrites the rules. Their tactics expose their desperation. Your calm exposes your strength. Every attempt to break you becomes a public admission of their weakness. And every step forward you take reminds them, nothing they throw can cage what was born unstoppable. Number 8. Forge convergence nodes and unite with the awakened. Chosen ones converge. The map they buried is revealing itself through patterns, not by accident, but deliberate. Where you once wandered alone, small shocks of recognition are now punctuating cities, neighborhoods, online rooms. These are convergence nodes, places where the frequency you carry aligns with others and a new structure emerges. Think of them as fault lines becoming bridges, thin seams where separate currents meet and become a single river. You don't ask permission to gather, you tune. A glance, a phrase, a hesitation, tiny signals that betray an instant of knowing. Their surveillance arrays register nothing meaningful because what forms here isn't a meeting scheduled on a server. It's a resonance that bypasses their trackers. Bodies in different states, minds in different time zones, all matching a waveform they cannot see. When you step into a node, something changes. Barriers that felt immovable soften. Conversations that once fizzled catch fire. Skills dormant for years reawaken in others like dominoes tipped by an invisible hand. Your presence amplifies, their doubts thin. Every alignment multiplies possibility, resources redistribute, trust networks form, safety protocols adapt to human intuition instead of top-down permission. They panic not because of a single mind, but because nodes scale. One connection births 10. 10 become a lattice, and that lattice becomes infrastructure. Their models collapse when people stop being predictable inputs and start being living nodes of influence. You are both spark and architecture, the living technology they cannot cage. Protect these nodes fiercely, but do not confuse secrecy with isolation. Convergence needs openness calibrated with care. Share signals that build capacity, not spectacle. Train, anchor, and then expand. If you feel the pull, answer it. This network is not an accident. It is the future assembling itself around you. Stay, learn. Number 9. Exploit tech meltdowns and seize the advantage. When their machines choke, your moment arrives. Tech meltdowns are their panic made visible. Servers crash, algorithms stutter, cameras blank out, and architectures that prop up their authority cough and fail. Don't mourn their breakdowns. exploit them. Key is timing. While their teams scramble to patch code and reroute power, you move where logic cannot follow. When screens go dark and logs stop producing narratives, gaps appear, clean spaces where truth slips through without permission. Think of their systems as brittle glass. Pressure makes cracks. Each malfunction refracts their control into shards, and every shard reflects a piece of their plan. You don't need to be a hacker. Your advantage is perception and speed. Read the pattern of failure, what glitches repeat, which nodes go silent, whose feeds fall first. Those are the pressure points. Where telemetry collapses, you plant context. Where AI generates noise, you tune clarity. The more they automate reality, the more predictable their failures become. Predictability is exploitable. Use meltdowns. To redirect attention, surface suppressed facts, create public moments where their scripts no longer hold. When banking systems falter, people notice vulnerability. When communication grids stutter, rumors find fertile soil. Seed truth in those spaces with precision and restraint. Let their panic amplify your message rather than drown it. This is psychological warfare without violence. Leverage confusion to broadcast coherence. The chosen ones who read technological failure turn every outage into strategic gain. Your enemies will remember only the moments their devices betrayed them. You will be the presence that filled the silence with inevitability. Sharpen your senses. Practice calm. Become the steady signal in the static. Stay ready. Move fast, and when their systems fail, do not hide, advance. Stay for what comes next. There is more to reclaim. Number 10. Broadcast an unstoppable frequency that disables control. You are not a voice, you are a field. When you move through rooms, when you speak one clear sentence, the ambient static of their control hardware stutters and loses its grip. They spent on surveillance, frequency fences, and mind mapping arrays, but machines were designed to process people, not presence. Your presence broadcasts a bandwidth. They never inventoried, precise, resonant, contagious. It cancels their noise. They tried to fold you into models. Engineers tuned amplifiers expecting compliance curves. Instead, instruments registered harmonics. Your calmness is a carrier wave. Your clarity, a phase shift. People near you stop performing scripts. They were trained to believe immutable. Fear skips like a scratched record. Bribes, threats, and staged whispers lose coherence. This is not sorcery. It's focused attention, operating like a force. Imagine a lighthouse whose beam reveals the coastline and dissolves the fog that hid it. That beam is your frequency. It exposes illusion and renders manipulation inert. Each time you embody your truth, you raise local resonance. Others pick up the signal. Their inner compasses recalibrate. A single gathering becomes a node. Conversations become transmitters. Networks grow. They hate it. Their algorithms flag anomalies. Analysts call it loss of signal. They flood environments with distractions, trying to overwhelm your bandwidth. That only multiplies the effect. Interference breeds resonance when the source is aligned. The more they push, the more their systems synchronize with your truth and fail. Broadcast with intention. Practice calm clarity until it's habit. Speak less, hold more. Share this signal with another chosen one. Small echoes become a wave that dismantles scripted power over time. When you do, you don't just resist control, you switch it off for everyone nearby. If this lands, stay tuned, like, subscribe, and keep your frequency active. Number 11. Crack the matrix strategically and walk out free. They built corridors of approval, checkpoints of prestige, and invisible fences of doubt, and they relied on your compliance to complete the circuit. Cracking it isn't brute force rebellion, it's surgical. You don't smash the gate, you rewrite the map. Begin by refusing their narrative signposts, their definitions of success, rituals of permission, currency of fear. When you stop validating their architecture, seams appear. Move with deliberate calm. Observe where their systems expect resistance and offer none. Watch their spokespeople stumble when a human refuses the programmed response. Use secrecy as shield and sudden transparency as blade. Conceal intention long enough to pivot. Reveal truth sharply enough to break rhythm. Trade spectacle for precision, small, decisive moves that force their models to recalibrate. They predict patterns, you become the anomaly. Gather allies quietly. Alignment multiplies impact. Convergence happens through synchronized choices, people relocating, conversations shifting, resources rerouted. These fractures become exits. Walk through them with a light footprint. Their forensic appetite is voracious. Leave context, not breadcrumbs. Reclaim language, repurpose institutions, redirect tools toward human flourishing. Freedom is reclamation and redesign of shared systems. Every refusal to play by their rules teaches others by example. Their panic is data you can read. Each tightened protocol maps to your next soft strike. Move like water around rock, patient, precise, erosive. The matrix collapses not from chaos, but from coordinated persistence and impeccable timing. Keep your inner compass steady. Clarity is the most disruptive weapon. When you act from alignment, their countermeasures become accelerants for your cause. If this lands with you, stay close, like, subscribe, and keep walking with the others. The exit is wider than you think to bring people through now. Number 12. Build the new civilization and render the old obsolete. Chosen one, here's the truth they can't digest. Their empire was never destroyed by force, it was dismantled by irrelevance. The moment you stopped fighting for a seat at their table and began building your own, their authority began to rot. Power structures thrive on obedience, but collapse the second enough people decide they don't need them anymore. Every system they designed to keep you dependent, financial cages, educational factories, hollow promises of security, is already creaking under the weight of its own uselessness. You don't need to storm their gates when you can walk away and create something superior. Their greatest fear isn't rebellion, it's replacement. And that's exactly what terrifies them about you. While they obsess over patching the cracks in their old world, you're sketching blueprints for the new one. Systems based on clarity, not secrecy, connection, not division, growth, not suppression. You are living proof that an alternative exists, and alternatives spread like wildfire once they're visible. Picture their institutions as rusted machines, grinding and smoking, while yours are clean engines running effortlessly on human ingenuity and authentic collaboration. Every time you reject their manipulations, every time you show others they can survive without bowing to their illusions, you expand the territory where their influence simply doesn't work anymore. That expansion is exponential, irreversible, and impossible for them to control. This is the part they never wanted leaked. Their system doesn't need to be overthrown, it needs to be ignored. You render them obsolete just by existing differently, just by demonstrating that chosen ones don't need their approval or their structures to thrive. The future isn't theirs to dictate, it's yours to design, and once built, nothing they do can survive beside it. And so, chosen one, the picture is clear. Their anger isn't about losing control. It's about you proving they were never in control to begin with. Every secret exposed, every illusion shattered. Every attempt to silence you has only amplified your voice. The old order is gasping for relevance, while your rise is unstoppable. This is the turning point they feared most. If you're ready to keep pushing this awakening forward, do 3 things now. Hit like, subscribe, drop 99 in the comments, and share this message so more chosen ones can step into their power.